get into that they shouldn't and that kind of thing. So yeah. Anyway, so let's go ahead and get started. It's a few minutes to 8, so I'll delete the first part for the YouTube viewers, but let's go ahead and get into this. So we are here on entity side. This was a place I was intending to tour a couple weeks ago, and again, that kind of got sidetracked. But this is one of the, I believe it's one of the honorable mentions from the Community Showdown competition that Carbine hosted last year. We are still going through those. There's still quite a few on the list, plus a few additional ones that didn't actually make the cut of any of the winner lists that we're still planning to tour. So let's just dive into it. I suspect, or I kind of think, that this is just a one-person community, that it's just a combination of their alts, but again, I don't know for certain. I've seen their tweets and stuff about parts of it on Twitter, and I think a little bit of discussion on the forums, but it's not always clear if there's any little bit of collaboration going on, so my apologies if that is not the case, but I think it's all a result of Proxima Dust's efforts. This is Echo Talesta City Station. It's kind of a mouthful, and make sure you get the spelling right, because I had the Talesta part spelt wrong and I kept wondering why I couldn't get to the community, and that was why, so be careful about that. I have no idea if any of this is to resemble something from a game or something from a book or a movie, but it's pretty crazy, some of the items that they use. I probably won't be able to name most of it because a lot of it seems to be like spaceship parts. I think there's a lot of Red Moon stuff. And like here, I think those are like the gear lamps, but because it's so oversized, it's kind of hard to recognize what it might be. And these parts here, I think are some of the, what do you call it? The technophage tubes, and they've just kind of sandwiched them in, so you just see the ends. That's my guess. I honestly can't say for sure. I see like these, I think, are some of those large antennas that come from some of the Far Side goodies. You can see there's lots of signs. This part here, I think, is like part of the captain's chair, and like this sign over here, I think, is from the air hockey machine. So you know that has to be huge because it's actually attached to the table, but they've just managed to squeeze it all in there, and it just looks amazing. I've already got it slotted that we'll probably continue this on until tomorrow, and if it happens that I just kind of warble on and it needs a third day, I will go ahead and extend it, and we'll have another stream Friday, but I'm going to try and do it in two runs this week. But good morning, Bones and Poi. Thanks so much, guys, for joining. I really appreciate it. And for those of you that have been tweeting and following, via Twitch and Twitter and the forums and stuff on YouTube, I really do appreciate you guys subscribing and everything. It's uplifting, and it encourages me to keep this going. Okay, so this entrance here, this is, of course, the community entrance. You always are ported in right here on the community plot, but you can zone into the specific individual plots if you know the names of the builders on those. And I think it's this corner here that you end up zapping into, and we'll probably see those as we run through. I don't know the specifics as far as if they're maxed out on their decor. It looks like it's a possibility because, I mean, just look what else is going on here. But it definitely has a city vibe, making these buildings like this right here, I think, is part of the, I don't know what that is, but they all look like skyscrapers, you know. Lots of tall buildings, lots of lights, good use of the lighting to darken it up, make it look all neon-y and everything. Um, I don't know what they're using for the platform here, but you can see that like they have the octopus neon signs here for the arrows. A lot of people like those for their Dance Dance Revolution mock-ups, elevator things, or just directional arrows for those that have like kind of mazy type builds and are trying to get you to notice a particular route. Things like this, even this, whatever this is, it's just a couple of posters, travel posters sandwiched together to get you this kind of, I don't know, like metal slab, and then some of those, not control panels, some kind of like lighting panel. It's a thing where you get like multiples and they're different colors in a decor kit from the cash shop. Just little details like that. Like this, it reminds me of like some kind of weird teleporter. Maybe they zapped in. I have no idea if that's what that's meant to represent, but you know. I think these are curved glass, and it's just some of them that are layered more to give it a brighter look. Again, I think that's like the gear lamp here, just oversized. Same way here. Now we're going to down this way. Honestly, I can't say for sure what all this stuff is. Like some of this looks like the engine parts here, and then you've got like the technophage door that's been recolored. Like here you have a door. It doesn't look like it goes anywhere, but whoops, I think I got stuck in the door. Stuck in the door. But it's still pretty nifty how they have it set up. Like this here is a combination. I think it's one of those sim people's NPCs with another screen that you get from that same kit that the other screen came from. And then I think this is part of the Exile bulletin board, if I'm remembering rightly. I think this is one of those space chase dealies, engine parts, or maybe one at the bottom of the barrels. I honestly, I have no clue. Trying to figure out what direction we need to go in. Yeah, I think we need to go back the other way. I should have ate something. My stomach's gonna just start growling like crazy. So the first plot we're coming into, we're gonna do like my usual counterclockwise movement here. It's the Free Zone Southboard. Again, you're gonna notice a lot of color shifting. Like here, that's part of the Gatorade machine, and they've just pushed it out so that, or pushed it in, so you just see the top part of it. It's great for little signs. I usually push it all the way in so you just see the writing and stuff. But like here, this is some of that new Macari furniture, and they're using it as a kind of a plant holder, planter. This is one of those, it's typically white, I think, Red Moon lights, and they've recolored it to a yellow. This is some of that circuitry. I think there's actually a kit now for it, but I couldn't tell you specific pieces. I'm sure there's multiples. This part here, I think, is the base, the bottom legging of the blue light lounge table. It has that weird metal bracketry, and they've just got several of them lined up. Again, lots of engine parts. I couldn't tell you what all's here. It looks like some of the not the graded, well, maybe the graded floor panels, but I couldn't say for sure. Maybe the maintenance platforms. I think they had that blue trim as well. This here, of course, is I don't know what all these bits are. Again, oversizing things tend to make them kind of unrecognizable because usually the person is just focused on a single part of it, so it just kind of brings that out a little more. But it makes it look like these weird little buildings as if you could go inside them. I really couldn't say what all this is. It's probably several pieces together to make it, whatever it is. These here, the top part here, I don't know if you can see it really good, but I believe those are the utility crates. And if I recall rightly, I think Proxima mentioned that they use that pretty prevalently in their building construction. Because it's metal, it's got a lot of nifty little lighting bits and things. It's just you kind of have to get past the part, you know, if you sandwich it together enough, you don't see the tools and the oversized book and everything. And like this part here, I think that's airtight containers. I think there's a lot of different kinds of smokes and things for effect, like smoggy kind of effects. But like here you have the holographic uh, projectors, the long one that a lot of people like to use in their refrigerators or as a decontamination setup to make it look like it's spraying. They've got some of that there. I also think I noticed some pieces from like uh, Arctera, specifically the Osun bits that have like steam coming off of it. That's a lot of good things. If you see some flashing, that's probably to do with either oversized like sparking wire or something. There are windows, like the haunted window that has kind of like the lightning effect. Um, there's like this here. I think that's uh, one of the I don't know if it's the small projector, holographic projector, or it could be one of the there's a couple of engine parts I think that does the same with the sparklies that it gives off, and they might have just recolored it because I think it's typically they're more of an orange. But I assume this is kind of supposed to be like a landing pad for like the cabbies, like you see in the cities. This looks like one of those generators or a cannon, one of the two. But like some of this with the glass bits just reminds me of spaceship parts. But like here, this whole thing, this little apartment thing or whatever it's supposed to represent, those are the utility crates. This one is too. And see how they make it look like a faux door here with the panels and everything on it. I have no idea what some of this is. It's just, again, it takes a lot of planning and forethought to kind of get this to mesh well together and not look weird and have odd parts sticking out where you don't want them. All right, Bones, have fun with your meeting. But clearly, we're supposed to be able to go into this little space, and this is actually, I think it's a prefab house. that's situated here. Just because of the way it looks, I suspect it's the bunker house. But they got the arrows clearly pointing in, and this is like an engine part. And then they've got another little panel stuck on it. So we'll go inside. And you can see how they've got it rebuilt here again. It's part of like the pressure dividers. A lot of recoloring and stuff. I have no idea what this is supposed to be. I guess a bar? Yeah, there's like a dance hall and everything here. So the bits on the floor, those are the suitcases, of course, being used kind of like a decoration for the flooring here. The tables, it looks like the looks familiar, but I'm not sure. I don't know if it's just the round brown table. The texture looks different. But that's like I think it's the uh, I can't think of the name. FreeBot analyzer or something. The one that has the two little panels that go around, or paddles. Like this here, I think that's part of the television, the little hovering one or the stationary one. It's got that weird little screen, and they've just pushed it in so you don't see the TV, you just see the screen. And then you have like the, I think that's part of the Chua desk. But again, these little booths here, I think those are something to do with engine parts, and like the Space Chase or something. So here, this looks like a little bar kind of thing. Again, I can't say for sure what all these bits are. Part of it looks like the graded floor panel. These looks like some of those technophage bits. Really couldn't say with any certainty. It's just really nicely done. So I don't know if these are supposed to be like gambling machines, and then they just, I don't know. This here is a combination of the tables. I think these are reinforced walls, and then they've got the ship hand seats, benches snuck in there. Some of these, I think, are those columns, not fierce columns, ferocious? No, something along those lines. It's like big round columns, and it's got all that blue kind of ancient writing, etching kind of stuff. Some of these are the Retros blocks, I think. Could be screens, and then these bottom parts, I don't know if those are Retros blocks or the, this kind of reminds me of the Datascape windows. But as you can see, they've chosen, you know, to go with the green, neon green, to keep it all nice and similar. It's amazing to look at, but honestly, I have no idea what all's being used in here. Even this kind of looks like a weird cityscape mural almost. Above, I haven't a clue. I think that's part of one of those Macari chairs or something. And then, of course, that little weird half dome thing. And I think that's all that's in here. I came in here before. I didn't find a door or anything. I'm not sure if I'm missing something, or if they purposely left it as a single room. Just kind of mousing over to make sure I don't miss a secret door or something. But as far as I can tell, that's all that's in there. So you can see that because we popped out and we were kind of like inside it. You could see that it was like one of those body scanners for the little panel here. This here, I think, is supposed to be like a monument deal. Again, it's hard to tell what that is. It looks like multiple, like I think there's some spaceship, like not phalanges or whatever, but like wing tips or something. I think that's what it is. Multiples of those layered up. Again, it's really hard to tell. But like that's a exile sign or something, just snapped on there. The color shifting can really modify what things look like as well. Like I have no idea what all of this is. And I'm sure I'm probably missing some bits. I hope not. But this is one of those builds that is so massive and there's so much detail and such large pieces that I worry that I'm going to miss something. But due to how a lot of the buildings and stuff are constructed, most of them I think are faux. Like this here, it looks like there's a door here to this structure, but all it is just a stack of those utility crates, and then like a faux door kind of snuggled in there to make it look like it's usable, but it's not really. So I think the main thing is that a little dance bar in this particular zone, and you know the flavor of the buildings being used. Trying to see how to get to this one because that looks like there's things there, but maybe I missed it over here. They make it look like this, like, but again, it's probably just faux because that's the inside of those utility crates. So just good job on them on kind of faking it in there. See if I can get up a little higher so we can see better. Yeah, see they've got them like outfitted with things, but I don't think there's any way to actually go inside them because you'd have to go through the floor of the utility crate. Like that reminds me of the neon sign that has the Marauder face on it. Cleverly done though, makes it look like it's an actual building. Some of these spaceships or whatever, I think they're part of the train pieces with just some added bits like the holographic doodads to make it look a little bit more lit up. Okay, let's go through this way and then we'll move on to the next plot. Oops, let me just hop off of there. And these, of course, are the cranes that you can get from your daily login reward. Again, if you haven't made it to the day that actually unlocks this, if you're pals with someone that has unlocked it, you roommate them real quick, they can purchase those items for you and have them put into your crate, and then you can use them. It's the same way with the Starfall fireworks decor and any other unlockables of that nature. If someone else has it and they are a roommate, they can purchase those items and then you can freely use them if you want to get a little head start. I think it's more especially handy for the fireworks parts because that only comes around once a year. Again, some of that Red Moon stuff with all the panels and the bar bits that they're using for the countertop here and the lighting up above. Let's see, figure out where we are. Because again, I don't want to miss anything. And again, I have no idea where some of these weird little signs and things come from. Most of them I think are just oversized from something else. Like you can see how this has a panel on it, so someone could position it in a way where just that panel shows and it's super oversized and it'll make it look like a door or something. But just seeing that part, you might not necessarily recognize that it comes from the metal container. Anyway, so the second part here is called the uh, Illyrian High Sec, I guess. I'm not sure about the pronunciation there. I'm sure I'm botching it up pretty badly. Don't want to get too far out. Again, I suspect this is from that the air hockey game. And like part of that screen there, that's some of that Macari furniture again. And like this part, one of those is the planets that you get from, or that we got from like the space stuff, where they allowed us to grab a bunch of asteroids and bits. And then the other part, I think, is either a recolored beer uh, neon sign, or it's the one that's got the Marauder face on it. I suspect it's that one because it's got this little weird sparky stuff going on too. Welcome back, Bones. Yeah, that was definitely a short meeting. So here we are in another little interior. Now it's technically the exterior still, but you get what I mean. Again, I think some of this is Macari bits, chairs or such, and they've just kind of smushed them all together to make this little like a giant oversized control panel kind of thing going on. I think these little bits here are the Dominion scanners. And then the bottom, the base here are, uh, I think it's weapons crates, yeah. And then here, these are, I think these are the locked chests. The coloring is a little different than I think its actual color. I think the other one is more, there's kind of some like orangey, coppery brown, but they've like color shifted it to a black and white. And it kind of makes it look like there's, you know, doorways to other rooms. But then you have the staircase here. Again, the lighting is those red moon lights, and then I think the stairs are the protostar ones. And you come up on different floorings here. Again, just that locked chest for the little faux doors. And you come up onto this. It gives you a really nice view, more of a bird's eye view of some of the area around. But you get these, I don't know what this is. It says cogs, I think. Again, some of those Retros blocks for the bluish background. This here, I think, are Dominion conference tables upside down or somewhat sideways, or a combination of all three. Because I think this is part of one table, and then you got another part, and then another one to make it look like this little fancy uh, secretary space or something where you check in. I can't, it's hard to see what's being used to spell. I think it's Exile Wall, not Exile, Cassian Walls that has that metal, and then you can kind of see the print there. And then if we go in, again, a lot of color shifting going on because these are typically orange. The doorways, I think, are the coiled wire. Like, looks like a coiled wire. And people like to use them as doorways, and then they've got the actual door stuck in here. The little zappy screen thing, I think that's from one of the Dominion cages or something. But here's a nice, lovely little lab section. I think these are from the Marauder display panel thingy, and they've just recolored them to make them look different. Like this is one of the Protostar hatchery things. Reception desk, that's the word I was looking for, boy. I'm horrible today about thinking about words. The cabinet itself is from the medical tables, I believe, just by looking at some of the details. This here is from one of the control panels, I think. Then they've got one of the weapons crates inset inside. Make it look a little bit more metallic there. I think this is one of the engine part things, and then they got the cube stuck in. And this is from, I want to say it's a medical cot or the body scanner. It's one or the other. Because both of them have some nice nifty little lighting bits on it. And then this is like their own version of a telescope. There's actually an Ixion telescope that we have as an actual decor piece, but this one they've put together, I forget what name of this medical piece is, but then they've added in some other bits and made it look like a little telescope laser kind of thing here, I guess. These parts here, I think those are from the cranes that we saw outside. They've just got the actual crane part, the motorized engine cab and everything hidden. These look like bread boxes to me, but I guess they could be like little containment boxes or whatever. Just curved glass and some domes. And of course, this one is using, I think it's the metal Marauder symbol for a flat lid. It's probably one of the few disc pieces that we have. Well, actually, I think that's a what is it, Technophage platform. So we got like two disc pieces now that I can think of is the Marauder symbol and that bit. That's the back of a Marauder display. It's the thing that I used to use for an aquarium way, way, way back when we first started playing around with that. So here's one of those little mini rooms that we saw when we were looking out the big window earlier. So you got a desk, a lot of Marauder pieces, Red Moon pieces here. This looks like a Chua chair, but it looks like it has a stool set inside it. I don't know what it actually looks like per se. I'm not sure what the desk part is. And like this, I think it's the Chua picture and then they've put a poster behind it to make it look different. So here we have another little lab. It's more Eldeny because of all the green. Got some of their artifacts in stasis here, I guess. Again, it's a combination of, I think, the technophage pillars and then those, God, I can't talk this morning. The holographic bits, the round one instead of the long one with the multiple thingamabobs. Just very fluent with English today. Here's a little bit better lighting here, but I still can't make out what all this is. It looks like maybe a travel poster sunk in on something else, but I'm really not sure. And this looks like the bottom of a column. Yeah, see how they've like changed the picture again. It's really that holographic Chua picture portrait or whatever, and then they've put in a travel poster kind of thing inside to just make it a little different. Let's see, go this way, I guess. Again, I think that's part of the Exile bulletin board. I think I went the wrong way. It probably would, but no. I actually intended to eat before I hopped on and got sidetracked with a bunch of other things. So here's, I can't remember what this is. It's the bottom of some kind of a light. I think it's from the Red Moon set. And they turned it upside down and are using them as planters, which I thought was kind of cute. And like here, I think that's part of that Ichthyon microscope. And here again, you've got the portable planters, and they've got a few of them with plants inside them. This little zappy thing is rather annoying. Could be just me, but I do not enjoy it, zapping through. Again, sometimes when folks will do these kind of like rooms, like whether it be like rooms for like doctor visit or something, or say it's an office space and there's a lot of cubicles or whatever, they'll just copy it verbatim and it adds a lot of monotony to it. But I like how they changed them up just enough where it looks a little, oops, I didn't go into that one, looks a little different. I like that. It's just little touches, you know. One had plants on the desk and another one had just a pile of money. And same way with the lab works. They could have repeated the lab over and over, but they've actually individualized each laboratory, so I thought that was kind of fun. This here for like these big squares, I honestly don't know what that is. I think it's the bottom feet or bits, pegs, or whatever you want to call them, of the utility crates, but again, I can't say for sure. But like this is like the generator, and then the motor wall-mounted generator. I think it's like two generators, different types, and then this is like the weapons crate again. Again, some of those engine parts, I won't even try to name them. That's part of that captain's chair. And then here, for these like data tablet things, storage or whatever you want to call it, I think those are a pair of the Protostar Winterfest bookshelves. They're that usually that white and blue kind of gaudy colors, and they just shifted them a bit, change it up the look. Like this here, again, that's the same chair, the captain's chair being used. This is one of the ship lights or engine panels. The green light here, that's from one of the detonators. That's a TV, I think. Some of those antennas again. And I think this is, I want to say it's part of the space taco thing, this whole contraption here. But it's sometimes it's unrecognizable again because the color is different. I think that's all for this level. And then we still have some more. Just double checking, make sure I don't miss anything. It's very dark. I apologize. I think a lot of it is just the lighting for the plot itself. That's why you see all these weird little dust mites floating around. So I think this again is supposed to be like where you check in. Maybe you make a reservation at a table or something, and then they let you know which table you go to. But again, I think a lot of this is Red Moon, like for the lighting. There's some Macari for some of the blue. There's some Sulfra stuff from Arctera. All right, boy. I think that's a Protostar lamp or light. Again, Macari furniture, really snazzy looking, with all the like the schematic kind of circuitry board stuff going on, but very specific in its look. Now, how they set up the flooring specifically, I'm not quite sure if it's just one giant lamp, and then they've just boxed it in, because I think these are graded floor panels, kind of to block off the dark part. Like here, I think it's just being recolored. Or no, this is recolored metal dividers, I think. Usually they're a white as well. They've just recolored them a bit. Welcome back, boy. So again, they've recolored some of them. I don't know if it's to indicate something or what, but you get a little view of, again, the city skyline bits. But look at how they've done the lighting, using it as the hallway here to get to the other section. But you could use this at like a spaceport even if you don't want to do a cityscape kind of thing. But it's a different shape. I think a lot of people, when they're using like glass tunnels, they'll go for the curved walls to make an actual tunnel. And yeah, some of this, I think that's from the arcade uh, decor pieces. Again, different panels. Yeah, here's some of those arcade machines and the signs that you can get separately. Some have been color shifted because I think there was only two different versions, a red and a blue, I think. And of course the lettering, it looks like again those walls, same thing that they use for the cogs, they're using for the Nova. And I want to say this is an engine part and then they've put the spotlight in it to kind of really make it glow. Again, difficult to identify every single item because it's just hard to recognize some that, unless you're familiar with using it in that way yourself, it's not always easy to identify something if you're only seeing a small portion of it. Like I'm pretty sure this here is from the um, it's the Sulfrost panel, but and then they've just tacked on the Macari bits. But like this here, where it looks like a weird little like bush or something, I think that's the um, tiki mask thing, like it's from the Moody stuff. Or it could be a piece from the Taurine mask. And like this part, that's the Weeping Fountain. The fountain part is actually down below, so you can't see that. You just see the top part. But you know, some things I can recognize, and others is like I don't even want to attempt to guess, because I'm sure I will get it so wrong. It's really hard to see. I think I'm back at the wall again. Yeah, I'm just kind of gotta go back that way. Like the shininess of this reminds me of travel posters, but I can't say for positive that that's what they're using. Here we are up on the roof here. Get a good view of the exterior. Again, you can see there's that tunnel leading off to the second part here. As you can see, we came in, I think this is where the entrance to the community plot is or was. You can see some of the ships flying around and just the scope of the city part, the buildings, the skyscrapers. Again, I think most of it is like the utility crates and like some of the antennas and technophage, the tubes. Beyond that, I couldn't tell you what all they're using. Make sure there's nothing up here that we're missing. Like that's like an oversized Macari piece. That's that one we saw earlier. Okay, I'm gonna see if we can just go down this tunnel now. I can get back. Feel a sneeze coming. Pardon me. Now I'm not sure how to get back back down. There we are. There's the pathway. Oops. Said I was going to go in the tunnel and I completely went the other way. Now I don't know if that'll take us to the other plot or keep us on this one. I'll see how far we go. Looks like it's still on this plot, so. And voila, now we're on this part. I think this is one of the landing platforms. I'm really not sure on that. Yeah, I couldn't spell it either. What is that, German or something? Again, it's a great place to come if you're wanting to try and get some good screenshots of the city in different like here's a good shot of the Nova sign. You can barely see that from down below unless you're really aiming for it, but that's a good shot of the, I guess it would be the club sign. I didn't even notice that we were going to the building itself. I sort of went in. But nice use of the Retros blocks as kind of a backdrop for the sign. And I really like this catwalk here. Ugh. Now I've got it all snotty. Okay, gotta go around this way. Now on this particular one, I don't think I found a prefab place because where I would expect it, I think, whoops, I'm like just walking into the wall there. Where I would expect it, I think they had a structure built over it and it doesn't go anywhere that I can tell. Okay, how the oodly do I get down? I'm like totally can't figure out how to get back down. Oh, goodness. I've forgotten how I got up here in the first place. Thought there was an, oh gosh. Yeah, I'm blind. I'm blaming it on the lighting because I can't see where the heck I'm going. Okay. Uh, where the cruddy? I'm blind again, aren't I? I swear it's like disguised. Anyway, I think it should be over here somewhere. Like right around in here. Like underneath this part. But I couldn't find where there was any other door or entrance or anything because I thought, okay, maybe I'm supposed to go in here and go through something here, but there's like no door here either. So I thought, okay, maybe this is supposed to be like an elevator of some kind, but again, I couldn't get it to open or anything. And of course, these are just crates or chests. So it should be somewhere around here, but it's not accessible that I can tell. Some people like to kind of like hide or otherwise disguise the entranceways to a lot of the prefab places, but some do purposely cover them up and don't use them, and they just concentrate on the outside, which is perfectly fine. It's just for someone like me that comes in, you know, ninja visiting and not wanting to miss anything, I feel bad if I find out later that I actually did miss it, unintentionally, of course, but you know, it happens. So yeah. Okay, so now I'm trying to look for path to the next plot over. Again, no idea what all of these big parts are other than, you know, like I think this is one of the cannons or something. It looks like that, or because this looks awfully familiar, but I just can't name it. So this is the third plot. It's called Aspect Lux. And this one was confusing to me when I came to visit to try and check out the place. As far as I can tell, it's mostly blocked off. I haven't figured out any way to get past this barrier thing. And even if you could, there's all those crystals and the, I think it's like the celestial roots or whatever, growths or whatever, and then like the buoyant blue crystals and the crystal formations, as if it's some kind of a unexplored area or off limits. But it's, you can see where I'm facing. It's like blocking off all of this. I couldn't figure out any way to get past it. So as far as I can tell, there's no access to that third plot, which is frustrating because I have to wonder, is that really the case, or am I just blind as a bat, which is a strong possibility, let's face it. But um, as far as I can tell, there's no route. Because I followed along on the other plot all the way, or I think I did pretty thoroughly, and all I did was run up against walls and such. So I don't know what the dealio is, if there's like a hidden door or something, and I just pretty much bypassed it unwittingly, or there's a trick to it, or if they have indeed purposely just blocked it off. I honestly couldn't say for sure. So my apologies in advance if that is actually a visitable section and I've just completely missed the clues as to where I should go to get to it. Um, but yeah, that's it. So this leads us to the Indus Tech sector. Um, fourth and not the fourth and final, but the fourth one. Again, some of this like weird flashing stuff, I'm sure it comes from an animation of a fellow item piece, but I don't know the name of it. It reminds me of kind of like one of the engine parts, or maybe even something as goofy as the Frost skull. It has that kind of weird, flashy, sparkly bits too. Um, but like these in particular, with these like weird lines and little twisty things that come out every now and then, those remind me of the test dummies, the ones that like the raid test dummies. But again, I'm not for positive that that's what that is. It just reminds me of that. I'm sure there's several other pieces that have something kind of similar animation bits. Um, it's really nifty how it's done. It makes it look like it's um, somehow containing these little plant uh, terrarium kind of things. You've got the far side uh, tentacle plants. A lot of people like to use those as jellyfish in their aquariums because one, they wiggle, and then two, they kind of look like jellyfish when you have them upside down. These here, these that look like peacock feathers, to me anyway, those are part of the new floral. Um, I don't know if it's the underwater set that comes with like the shells and stuff. There's a lot of new plants in that particular cash shop decor kit, and then of course you got the crystal formations behind that, and then over here you have some of the other kind of weird little plant thingies. Again, it kind of reminds me of Farside because you got the little jelly shroom thingies. Lots of NPCs. I'm surprised they have so many. It's probably weird for me because I don't really use NPCs all that much. And then again, I'm not sure if this one came with an interior or not. I think it's, yeah, I think it's here. And I believe this is, if I remember rightly, it's the Osun one, I think. I'm not sure, but I think. But here you can see like they've got the technophage door. I think the pathway here is a travel posters, weapons crate for some of that. This here is the charming bar. I think I got it right the first time. Love the waterfall features with the little steam gliders included. These are some of the newer waterfalls. They have better animation, more realistic looking than the older ones, but the older ones are still used quite a bit. I think it depends on the effect that you're going for and what you're actually using it for. Like you wouldn't want to use the natural waterfall necessarily for like a sink that you want to have water come out of. Typically you go with the older waterfalls because it looks a little bit more the proper usage. I don't know what's being used for the actual floor, but it's super shiny. Definitely so. See how that it tricked me, made it look like there was a door there. The bottom here, honestly, I can't tell you what that is. I suspect it's the bottom of one of these things, and they just oversize it and using it as the base of it. It looks oily, kind of greasy, gross, but it's a very awesome texture. Definitely great for floors or walls if you're looking for something a little different. Again, they've really enjoyed using these oversized parts that I can't even begin to name. Yeah, I think this is that one platform that comes out into the hall, and they've just made it. Doesn't look like it's complete, to be honest. I'm actually almost hesitant to go down below because I have a feeling I'll probably get stuck. Definitely something to come back and take a look at when you get a chance. Yeah, that's what I suspect. The bottom of it, because they had that kind of swirly, weird uh, texture. I don't know what you call it. This here, I think, is one of the. I don't know if it's the actual weapons crate that's making those little letters, or if it's one of the other signs. I guess I'll go ahead and venture to see if I can. Yeah, I'm probably going to get stuck down here, but I'm determined to make sure I don't miss anything that they intended to have looked at. Yeah, it's completely blocked off. I had a feeling. Now I won't be able to get back out. Okay, let me just backtrack a little bit. Looks like a fish. I don't know why. I mean, I suspect it's just because it's got that long oval, but it always looks like a fish to me. Probably doesn't help that that one part has like an eyeball. We're just kind of quickly running back to the other. Did I go this way? No, this looks different. I didn't come this way. Okay, I'm in between. Again, it looks like maintenance platforms and those uh, red moon lamps or lights, however you want to say it. These here, I think, is the tops of those weird exile fence posts. These here, it's regular benches, and then this part here, this little scroll bit, I want to say it's part of the divider from like the exotic decor, just to make the benches look a little different. Okay, so I think that was mostly that plot. There's the entrance to the Osun structure. Again, I don't know what all those pieces are. Yeah, so we're getting ready to go back to that dead end part. As far as like, it's not, mood lighting is probably not the right term, but as far as that goes, I really love how it reminds me of like Blade Runner and stuff. I don't think that's necessarily their inspiration for this kind of build, but that's what it, those kind of city. It's dark and a lot of neon and okay, now this one, if I remember right, there's actually access to the house right around here somewhere. You have to like stand just at the right spot to get the door thing to pop up. There's nothing in it, but it's somewhere around in here. I don't know where exactly. Happened to be running down this path and accidentally saw it pop up and went, "Ooh, there's a." But like they don't have any kind of like, a lot of times if there's something kind of hidden, people will like leave a little clue, like maybe not so blatant as an arrow or something, but maybe like a bush or a little, you know, partially buried skeleton or something, just some kind of a little marker. So you don't have to kind of hunt and guess, but it's somewhere in here. There's a if your camera's just right and your character's positioned just so, the little door interactable button will pop up. But like I said, there wasn't anything in there. It's annoying me because I know it's here, but that's that, I guess. I'm trying to figure out what else is here. This is called the Free Zone North Ward, by the way. I think this one was the South Ward. Again, that's part of those arcade signs. And then this is, it's a combination of different neon signs. I think this one's been recolored, and then that's just one of the beer signs, and then this is the beer star sign, the one that Katia likes using for her scoreboards, and myself and others use for like lettering. But notice they're using, uh, I don't know what you call it, the kanji or something, to kind of really make it look a little extra special. Again, the red moon lights for the trim around the windows. And then you can see the shop signs. Everybody's always trying to find clever ways of doing the shop signs so that it's easily recognizable as to what it is. So I guess this is either a magazine or a bookstore, maybe for games. It's like where you can nerd out. Here they got a drill, so maybe it's to do with weaponry or something, or maybe it's for getting precious stones or something. I'm sure we'll figure out more once we go in. This one doesn't have anything, so it's like a closed shop ready for renting, and then you got the medical one here. Let's have a look a little closer. So here, yeah, it's like games or movies or something, and so they've got the little display here. I think these tables here are the bottoms of the uh, box of bolts. It could be the same thing that they use for the desks in those other office places that we saw when we were going up the really tall building. And then they just top the other ones with something to make it a little smoother. And here I can see the pattern on the bottom, which reminds me of that particular bit because it's a little flared. They don't have straight edges. Then they've got the, of course, the ergonomics keyboard, the tactical table, and then here they've got the tablet computer, but it's got inset inside it the poster representing the game or whatever that they're showing off. Again, it's the Chua holograph portrait, and then they just insert the posters inside there. And this one's medical goodies. We see a lot of people like to use this. They just have the items sunk down so you only see the little plus sign. Some will zoom in on just this part. They like that bit, and they'll cover everything else up. Some of this I think is technophage bits, but honestly, I can't name it all. Like this is part of the, there's the, I think a Dominion scanner, but it's also got the, one of the other displays on it. It's not the, I wanted to say it was one of these, but it's not moving like that one does. This one's staying stationary, so I suspect this one, probably the Red Moon versions. Of course, that one's closed. Then we've got this one, I guess this is show off all the mining equipment. Like this here, that I think that's one of the Christmas or the holiday Winterfest tree shells or something stuck in there. Here we've got weapons depot, I guess. And yeah, there's lots of weapons. I think this cabinet is airtight containers, and then they've just got a lot of the detonators and mines and cannons and stuff situated there. Like I think this here is one big can't think of the word, like a little machine gun thing. It'll come to me like well after. Okay, this one got a sign. I don't see one. A lot of Elden goodies. I think that's the first time I've seen someone use the Marauder Net shelf as an actual shelf. Everybody else uses it for like weird antennas and doorways and jumping pads and things. Oh, there's a little cafe kind of deal. Again, Red Moon decorations for like the monitor and the bar. ATM machine, possibly. There's another little foods booth. So dark, I can't see where I'm supposed to go. I'm gonna fall off where I'm. Like these look like maybe possibly apartments or something that you could get into. And I think like the flooring here is travel posters. Um, so not sure where I'm supposed to head. Like here, there's another one of those kanji. signs. Oops. Go this way. Again, can't tell what all this stuff is. So lost here. It's a nice little marketplace, that's for sure. Like, I don't know what they're using for all of this part, the raised sections. Kind of looks familiar, but then it doesn't, so I'm not positive. Some kind of weird bulletin board concoction. Again, not sure what this is. Some kind of marketplace again, maybe. These, I think, are Chua shelves. Some of these countertops. For these little bits, that's the airtight containers. Just kind of blindly running around. That looks pretty nifty, but it looks like the leaping fountain, but not quite. Got those really weird faces or something on there. Like, yes, like some of these areas, it doesn't quite look like you're supposed to be going back there, but I just keep wandering around and finding little crannies here. One fun thing about using oversized pieces, it makes it easier to get away with. You fill up a space, but you're using fewer pieces than if you had built everything from scratch using actual walls and floors and windows and such. If you can find an item that resembles a building, like I think one of the favorite pieces in the very beginning were like the metal crates, the containers, the metal containers. A lot of people like using those because all they had to do was add windows and such. And now folks are finding more items like the utility crate and a lot of the technophage bits uh, suit better as far as oversizing and using up, making it look like different buildings and such. Especially if you're not really concerned about having every building enterable. If you're not uh, averse to having faux buildings, then those definitely will work nicely. Okay, I think we just did a little circle here. Maybe these are part of those bookshelves from the Protostar Winterfest. I honestly don't know. Okay, so yeah, I think we've made a full circuit. Again, if you're looking to put together your own like cityscape, this is a great place to come and visit. There's a lot of work that's gone into combining these oversized items in a way that makes sense. Um, Clearly, for someone like me, that's not the easiest thing to do. I just don't have, I don't plan my plots as extensively as other builders. Some of them take months, even going as far as sketching out their, the plan. Um, and I'm just like the worst at that. I think I do more kind of like a free form. And whoops, that was a bad idea. Trying to get up here and see if I've missed anything. This looks like a road of some sort. Yeah, I think those are those shelves, the protostar shelves. Anyway, dang, I lost my train of thought there. Um, can't remember what I was saying. Anyway, if you're looking for some inspiration or whatever for putting together a cityscape, this is definitely one of the places to come to and check it out. Not just for ideas of different materials that you could use, like the gear lamps. I doubt very many people would have considered using multiples of those to make like the tops of a dome kind of building or something. Um, Using the technophage bits or even the utility crates. That's not a primary item that comes to mind when you're thinking about buildings. Um, but definitely you can tell like those that have like these little lighting bits um, for the technophage or the far side kind of bits, red moon stuff. Uh, Protostar's got a lot of lighting kind of deals that goes on. Those definitely play into having that neon look, like a night scape kind of thing. So yeah, definitely some good stuff. So it looks like we've covered the entire community in one go, which is surprising, but I guess not so much since I couldn't really find interiors for some of the plots. Um, it makes me feel even more worried that maybe I've missed a lot, which I hope is not the case. But if it is, that's unfortunate, but I apologize in advance. I hope you guys enjoyed it though. Definitely some amazing work, putting together all of the buildings. Even if a majority of them are faux, that's still not an easy thing to do and pull it off and make it look like it actually came that way. Again, being able to not identify every piece also kind of is a compliment to the builder in that they were able to kind of disguise it so that it kind of looks like it came like it did. Um, that's always a trick for someone like me that makes an effort to try and name everything. Clearly, a lot of these have fooled me because some of them look familiar in a way, but I just can't quite place it. It's like having the name on the tip of your tongue and not being able to spit it out. But yeah, hopefully you guys got some inspiration. I know there's a few of you that I'm pretty sure have built like cityscapes before, and probably didn't go to this extent, but maybe it'll give you some ideas. Again, while a lot of it is faux kind of set up, it's still interesting in how it's used. It might give you some ideas, especially if you're going for a particular theme. Maybe not necessarily cityscape, but spaceport would work really well. Even kind of like university school stuff could probably get away with using a lot of these bits to make it look lively. But if you're going for something like a Las Vegas kind of style kind of thing, like if you're doing a casino build, this would be a great inspiration for that too. So yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed it. Um, we'll be back next week, of course, unless otherwise informed. Again, if you want to keep up on any kind of possible cancellations and such, best place to see that is via Twitter. As early as I can. If I know I'm having to skip a session, then I will be sure and tweet it out. Because I don't like people waiting on me, expecting me to show up, and then to realize that I'm not going to be there that day. But as it stands right now, we should be a go for our usual schedule of every Wednesday. So that means we'll be back on Jabbit next week, and I will be looking at which one we'll be visiting for that one. Again, we're going to be sticking with the communities from the Community Showdown event or competition. I still got, I think, a few more honorable mentions, and then a couple of ones that participated but didn't get even an honorable mention. We'll be visiting those. After that, we'll go back to a few individual plots, and then we'll just kind of mix it up every now and then. If I find a community that we haven't toured already that deserves a look, which I've already spotted a few that do, then we'll throw those in intermittently. But for now, we're going to stick with the community stuff. So yeah, hope you guys have a wonderful week/weekend. And again, thank you for the support, all of the tweets, the retweets, the follows, the subscribers to the YouTube channel and everything. I appreciate that you guys continue spreading the word. I've seen a bit of an influx of new players and some new streamers even. So if you know of someone that's streaming regularly and doesn't plan to drop it right away, drop me a note. I'm happy to promote them. I did add a bunch of new links, something I intended to do weeks ago, and I've just gotten sidetracked with all the stuff that's been going on. But TW sent me some links for some house tours that they did from NA side. There's one that covers just toilets, custom built toilets, which is kind of a funny thing because it's kind of like a running joke for us, because I'm kind of obsessed with them myself. But also some, I don't know if it's like demos per se, but it's like advice for decor tips and things. Some videos on that, and also a link to their Discord channel. I think it's a group of NA players that regularly communicate, probably to share their own tips and tricks amongst each other, maybe give each other live in-game advice, or just kind of like a networking thing. There's a few other Discord channels that we've got, but you can find all of that in the resources section on my Twitch channel page. Again, if you find any links that aren't working now, I haven't really gone through them lately, let me know and I'll remove any of the ones that aren't working anymore. But as far as I know, most, if not all, of the information is up to date as far as the links are working. But hopefully you find something there that you can use. Yeah, if you know of anyone else that has some videos or is doing tours or actually streams WildStar regularly, be sure and let me know and I'll add them to that. So yeah, that's it for today, guys. Have fun, happy building, and I'll see you guys later. Bye-bye.